Hi ladies, I'm Sharda and I'm back with a video for today. This is the first video of my pregnancy series and it's going to be about what labor and delivery, labor and the birth is like, and I'm going to separate the whole pregnancy process into sections. So, if you have anyone in the room that's a little squirmish at too much detail about the female anatomy or about birthing of babies, you might want to not watch this video around them. This is specifically, it's a ladies' channel. It's for the people that really want to know what things are like, and I'm going to be just talking straight out about it, okay? So, as you guys know, I have mentioned in my earlier videos that I had birthing experiences with both multiples. I had twins naturally, and it was a hospital birth, and I had a singleton naturally. A singleton means single baby after twins, singleton, and I had him naturally also, but he was a home birth. So I have pretty much good experience with what'll happen in the hospital, what'll happen at a home birth, what'll happen with multiples, and what'll happen with a single baby. And they are vastly different. The experience is really, when it comes to labor and delivery or preparing for pregnancy and birthing a baby, it really largely depends on the mother and your mindset from the beginning about your birth and your baby. So it is a big change in the way that you think and in the way that you view things about your body and about the birthing process, okay? So for those of you that are looking at this video and you're not quite religious, I understand, but I believe in God and the Lord Jesus Christ, and I have faith in God. And most of my experience that I'll be talking about is going to be largely based on my faith in God and the ability that He has given to every woman to carry out this natural process. The first thing I'm going to say is that you need to stop looking at labor and delivery as a disease. Many women, it is in the mainstream media, it's in movies, everyone just looks at pregnancy as some kind of illness and disease, and that's the first thing I noticed, especially in my first pregnancy. I treated it like I was ill. I was very, because I believed that way, I just gave in to whatever came around the bend with the pregnancy. For example, I gave into laying around, I gave into being tired and being upset and being all emotional and everything that people say pregnancy is gonna be like is what I believed about it at that time, before I did a lot of reading and research and before I had my own experience. During that first pregnancy, I believed what everyone said about it. So it's exactly how I acted and how I reacted to the pains and the I would say, the growing pains of pregnancy itself. So that's the first bit of advice. It is important to change your mindset about pregnancy. And you need to believe that you were created capable of doing this. I know many women have had bad experiences, but it all comes back, when you think about it or when you ask them about it, it all comes back to the way they viewed their pregnancy, reacted to their pregnancy, prepared for their pregnancy, and also about what their family and friends and doctor believed about their personal pregnancy. So when you get all those factors out of the way, and I'm gonna explain to you how, you will be able to just view this as a natural process and get ready for it in the best way possible. Okay? So when it comes to labor, I am going to go into the pregnancy part in another video, but I'm going to go straight back to labor. With my girls, as I say, I believe in God, right? So my first pregnancy was just after I got married, and we consummated the marriage, and I pretty much conceived right away the first time we consummated our marriage. So I was in a new marriage. I found out I was having twins, and there's more about my experience with that pregnancy in some older videos that I did about it. But concerning the labor with multiples, it was quite an experience. I know I spoke about it being sort of euphoric, and a lot of women you may have heard about hypnobirthing. Well, I had a hypnobirthing experience without the hypno part. So basically what I was doing, I felt in the beginning my water broke, and the contractions were very weak at the beginning. So in some pregnancies, your water may break, and you may see it break, like you may see it come down as a gush, or it may be something like you go to the washroom and you find that you're urinating for a longer than you should, and it happens that way. Or sometimes the baby may be born en caul, which is in the sac, and you would have to rupture the sac manually. So my waters broke. I saw it, my husband saw it, and we couldn't believe it because I was only 7 months. I think the middle of 7-month period, I suppose, from what I remember, with twins. So we had opted for very little intervention, which we had to really fight for because all the doctors, they wanted to schedule me, they wanted to induce me, they wanted to cut me open. Everyone just wanted to cut me open. Everyone wanted to do cesareans. And being in a new marriage and new to the faith, really believing in God and doing what He said, and not just calling myself a follower of Christ, but actually following in what I practice. I was new to the faith in that way. And when you're new to the faith in that way, you kind of have like radical kind of faith where you just believe, you believe with your everything. So I was in that stage. So it was very easy for me to say to myself, no, these people aren't going to tell me what to do. I want the best possible way to deliver these twins naturally. So it was very easy for me to believe that I was capable of doing it and that I could do it. I think if I wasn't new to the faith, I would have gotten fearful, and I would have said, okay, the doctor knows best. But I was really believing that God was with me and that He would be able to do this with me. And so we went with a hospital that wasn't really technologically advanced. It was more in the countryside. And when I got there, the contractions were starting to come faster. So when your water breaks, sometimes it takes a long time for your contractions to start. And that's why I don't advise going to the hospital as soon as you feel contractions, because by the time you're there 1 to 4 hours, they will want to induce you. They want you out of there as fast as possible. So my second tip in this whole story is try to labor as long as you can at home, at least until the contractions are 4 minutes apart. I would say 5 minutes apart. Then you have a chance to actually drive to your birthing center or hospital or wherever you're going, because after that 5 minutes apart, things start to get really real and you're gonna go into active labor. Okay. After my water broke, it took 12 hours for me to get to the stage where the baby's head was coming out. What do contractions feel like? Contractions feel like, first they come on like you need to go to the washroom, to have a bowel movement. Sometimes you may feel like you're just on the verge of an episode of really bad diarrhea, or you're having period cramps that are a little bit more than just period cramps. They're kind of they're more muscular. They occur in your on the top of your belly and in your pelvic area. You may feel that's the first thing you may feel with contractions, and then things start to get a little bit more intense. It feels like more spasmic muscular movement. And the best thing to do is to give in to those movements. And a lot of times I hear people, I'm not going to get into the pushing part yet. Let me continue on the contractions. If you give in to those contractions and for me, meditating on the Lord did it a lot. I was constantly in prayer. So my focus was not more on the pain, and it was more on praying to the Lord. So that really shifted my focus and gave me a good focal point to direct my thoughts to, instead of focusing on the pain. So a lot of people ask me, well, is it really painful? And my answer is, I am not sure I can say it's painful. Will you feel pain? Yes, there is a lot of pain involved. But if you choose to focus on something else and you maintain that focus, it's giving birth, and especially enduring labor, is really, it takes a conscious effort to discipline yourself to ride those waves and contractions as best as you could, and stay as relaxed as you can, and manage those labor contractions with deep breathing and moaning, like moaning into your belly, into yourself, and really feeling those contractions go down your stomach and into your pelvic area. and you ride those waves of contractions, and then they start to get more intense. And as they get more intense, you keep your focus. If you lose focus, you'll start to hear yourself going, ah, ah. You'll focus more on the pain. If you keep your focus in check and you really discipline yourself to stay consciously calm, yes, that's what I mean. If you stay calm and you keep your focus on whatever it is, if thinking about flowers makes you feel better, you may want to look at the flowers and just think about how orange it is and how beautiful it is and how you could see it in the summer when it comes out, but right now you're birthing a baby. So with this next contraction, you're just going to focus on the flower and go, it is all about letting your body do what it has to do. You're not going to take control and force your body to do what it has to do. When you go to the washroom and you need to take a poop and that poop is coming down, if you force it, you're gonna have a lot of pain, a lot of resistance. You might develop hemorrhoids. Things get really crazy down there. You want to just relax, and you feel that is it peristalsis? You feel the sphincter muscles contracting in your colon to let that poop down, and you feel the poop coming down. That's exactly what it feels like when you give in to contractions and let that baby come down. Your muscles do all the work while you try your best to maintain control and endure those contractions. That being said, we get to the birthing process, where a lot of times the doctors tell you to push, and they want to tell you when to push and when not to push. For my my multiple pregnancy, they were telling me not to push when my body was pushing. I couldn't do anything about it. They shot me up with they gave me some Pitocin, which was not what I wanted, and I told them I didn't want it. But when you're in the hospital, you gotta comply with whatever they want to do. So that made the contractions a lot more frequent for me, and I had my focus on the Lord. So again, even though the pain was getting a lot more intense, I still could maintain control of that pain. And there is a point where you feel like you cannot do it anymore, and that's when it's almost over. That's when the head is coming out, and that is the point where your body is giving birth to that baby and it's about to come out. So when you hit that wall that you can't do it any longer, that's when you're done. Okay? And it reminds me a lot of what the Bible talks about when the birth pains and in the end times, and then when it gets so intense, and not gonna go too much into that. Let's get back on track. So you're giving birth to this baby and they're telling you to push. What does pushing feel like? First off, I'll say pushing is not something you just do. Pushing is something you allow your body to do. So I was saying, through the contractions, you're letting your body do what it must, and you continue to do that while in the process of birthing the baby. You don't worry about anything else. You don't listen to what other people are saying. You just maintain control of your emotions and focus and get that baby going. Now I was gonna say something about pushing. Pushing. Whoa, oh, it feels like when the baby's about to come out, it feels like there's a big blockage in your cervical area, your pelvic area, your vagina. There's like a big ball of something coming down there. It's tight. It's just, I don't know how much more I can explain that until you really experience that. But you know, with birthing a baby, that's just it. You just let your body do. If your intuition is telling you you need to go on your all fours, do it. If your intuition is telling you eat that banana right now, and you're in active labor and you need to eat that banana, do it. That's with a home birth. I don't think they allow eating in a hospital birth. I'm not sure about that because they did not allow me to change positions or to eat anything the first time around. With my son, my intuition told me I was in active labor. I was walking around with that bowling ball feeling, and my intuition told me, or my conscience, or the Lord, the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, told me, get that banana and eat it. And I ate the banana. I felt a lot better. I had more energy to endure, and I kept going, and that's what it's like. I mean, it's a very intense experience, and I don't want to make this longer than it should be, but these are the details of labor and birthing the baby. You don't push. When it comes to pushing, the first time around I was pushing with my head, and when they said push, I was doing like you wanted to force poop out, and you're just pushing with all your head. And he said, no, don't do that. He saw me getting red in the face, and he corrected me, the doctor in the hospital, the first time around. He said, you're pushing wrong, because I didn't know how to. It was my first pregnancy. I just knew how to maintain my sanity through the whole thing. But he said, you're pushing with your head. Things can happen. Don't push with your head. Push as if you're bearing down. So I took a deep breath, and you want to feel that energy, that pushing energy inside of you, and not just you forcing a baby to come out of you, just like you would force a poop to come out of you. You want to bear down, as in use your inner strength, inner core muscles, and do it with deep moans and deep breaths, and whatever your body wants you to do. Make whatever sound your body wants you to make, as long as it's not a high-pitched tone like because then your labor won't go anywhere. You need to make it low and moaning, so that it gets deep down inside of you, and you're able to bear that and push that baby out, okay? And basically that's what pushing is. It's not, you're not forcing your body to push something out. Pushing is all about maintaining control and finding that deep inner core ability that you have to really feel those muscles doing the work, and go with the muscles and not against the muscles. And when they tell you to stop pushing, you should not tense up and hold in the push. You should just allow your body to do what it's doing. If they tell you to stop pushing right now and it's an emergency that you stop pushing, then you just hold it and don't force it. Just hold it. Just keep calm through that pain. Okay? It's a rite of passage for every woman. Some women don't get to experience it, but if you're pregnant or you're just found out you're pregnant or you're a veteran mom, you know what I'm talking about. And that is the correct way that you go about a labor and a delivery. Okay? If you have any more questions, feel free to ask me. I'll answer them in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next video for this series. Okay? Be blessed and have a good day. Bye.